everybody, it's Callie and I have a reaction video for you today. So back before social media was really a thing, we used to see a lot of OCD portrayals in movies and TV shows, and I think it's a surprise to nobody that a lot of them were really not accurate, downplayed the severity of OCD or how devastating it can be to the people who suffer from it. So I think one of the upsides of social media coming about was that we could hear from normal people, unscripted, about what OCD is for them. So today I have queued up a bunch of clips of people talking about OCD, and we're going to see how I feel about whether it's accurate, inaccurate. Yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so the first one is Khloe Kardashian, which I'm going to try to clean my mind of anything that I know that she said about OCD, because I know a lot of it has not been in a very accurate or favorable light. So I'm just going to watch this one, take it for what it is, and tell you what I think.
I'm going to ask you to take that artichoke right there and just put it in the middle of that grapefruit pile. And then you'll move a grapefruit over into the artichoke pile.
I would like to put it back, but
Okay.
it's fine.
It's okay the way it is.
No, I'm going to put it back, but it's fine.
What I want you to do is basically we're going to sit with the mismatched fruit and we're going to let you see that actually while we're talking, you might not notice it so much.
That's probably a very accurate representation of what a low-level exposure might be for somebody that struggles with perfection or orderliness. But I think what's missing a lot of times when we see these kinds of portrayals, same thing with like cleanliness, is that people aren't just doing it because they like things to be in order. Like, I like things to be in order, but I don't feel this sense of danger or like it has to be that way or else type thing. So just like moving the artichoke or whatever, you know, I think that that might be an exposure for somebody. It's just, we don't know what the thought process is behind it, why that person would be doing that or why that might distress them.
Do you mind if we actually open that refrigerator? I've heard about this refrigerator.
Oh boy. Well, they're done in a color system.
Color system.
It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then it's, you know, it's supposed to be like a rainbow.
Beautiful.
See, like rainbow order, like I'm looking at my paints right now, they're in rainbow order. I used to do my closet in rainbow order, not because it distressed me not to do that, not because I felt something bad would happen if I didn't do that, just because I liked it. So if I mess that up, I'm gonna be annoyed because I like to be able to find things that are in color order. It makes it easy for me to find them, but I'm not going to feel that distress. Like, I'm not going to fly off the handle type thing. So that's how I know, for me personally, that is not an OCD issue.
Oh, can we mess the rainbow up just a little bit? You can mess any two colors you want. Yeah, because they're similar-ish.
Again,
yeah,
another
let's do those.
exposure that
And
might
just
happen.
make sure you're breathing. Okay, how does that feel?
It makes me excited for you to leave.
I mean, just from that clip alone, I can't really say anything. Again, keeping separate in my mind the things that I already know that they've talked about with OCD. On its own, it's fine. So we can take it for face value and say it's okay.
This is why every single TV show or movie about someone with OCD has been unbelievably inaccurate, because they've painted these characters as comfortable with people witnessing them have tics. Microwaving nothing for 33 seconds to prevent nuclear war. I did that for years. The 33 seconds of radiation coming from the microwave will siphon off all the radiation of all the warheads in the world.
Oh my God. I don't want to laugh. Why do so many of us with OCD have something with the microwave? What is the significance? What is the importance? What is the pull of the microwave? I don't have this thing with like the nuclear warheads, but my thing was always that I'd go to put something in the microwave. So like, I'd have my food that I was trying to heat up. I'd put it in the microwave, start it, turn around and be like, wait, did I just put my cat in the microwave? And then I'd have to go check. Something with the microwave. What is it that so many of us have an issue with? I don't understand. That needs to be studied.
Did you ever actually put something in the microwave for the ritual?
Nothing could be in there. Dude, when I'm talking, I would do it at sleepovers. I would do it at friends' houses. I would do it. I just had to do it once a day.
Any sleepover where they said, where are you going?
Multiple times in my life, I've pretended like, oh, fuck, I forgot. Oh, we're getting pizza? Yeah. And I microwave 33 seconds. I'm like, oh, I forgot to put the slice in. Well,
I don't know that I so much struggled with hiding what I was doing compulsively. I was always pretty open about it, but that was probably a compulsion in itself, that I would say what I was doing was a compulsion as I was doing it. So like, take that for what it is. Trying to be sneaky about your compulsions or trying to hide them, still doing them in a sneaky way. Something that I think resonates probably with a lot of people.
But then there was other ones like walking through, if a door, if it pulled out, I could walk through. But if it went in, I had to walk through it backwards.
And would you, with your friends, would you just be like, hey guys, and like
1,000%.
Yeah, no, that feels right. That feels like something that I would have done. I had a thing, I can't say I had. I still sometimes have a thing with, how do I explain this? Trying to, if you know, you know. Trying not to pass out or trying to make it seem like I'm not going to pass out. Another OCD thing, not passing out itself, but being afraid of certain things happening to your body. So you're being hyper vigilant about the way that things feel in your body. So if I would feel, I don't know, if I would like dissociate for a minute or if I would just like daydream or whatever, I would say, oh my God, am I just like losing consciousness? Is something happening? Am I losing it? And then I would be like really hyper aware and try to act like I'm really in the conversation that's going on, just to kind of not give off to anybody else that something was wrong with me, that something was happening. But in my mind, I'm like freaking out and just trying to like play it off like, oh yeah, everything's great. Yeah, that's me, 100%.
You'll think about, an issue, and then you'll go through, like, every reason that that's definitely true, and then you're like, wait, I've got to go through every reason that can't be true, and then...
So you have, like, infinite thoughts that stem from infinite
it's a
thoughts.
cycle, it's
Yeah,
a rumination.
it's a cycle. It's never, one thing is never enough. There's always another what if. So even when if you think, oh, if I could just figure this out, if I could just get this thing, sorted, I'm good. That's not true.
And so, you can't break out of that. A technique that I would learn in therapy is like, all right, well, like, what if everybody does? Like, then what?
Does that end the loop?
It should, and that's what I couldn't do.
OCD goes so unnoticed, but it's the root of so many people's anxiety, panic disorders, eating disorders, addictions. When they told me I had OCD, it was the most freeing thing because movies and TV portray OCD as being this like cute little quirky thing that like you are a germaphobe and you like everything organized, and people don't understand that it's a mental disorder that literally wreaks havoc on your life and in your brain.
It is so important that people see accurate representations of what they're going through so that they see the disorder that they have accurately represented in TV, movies, on social media, wherever. It really, I think, does such a detriment to people that may have something, but it doesn't present the way as they see it on TV, so they don't even consider it, whereas the thing that's on TV isn't real. It's not an accurate representation. So you're comparing apples and oranges here. That misinformation is so dangerous because it keeps people from getting diagnosed.
Thoughts can come as either a thought, an image, or even like a sensation, like a bodily sensation. For me, I used to have horrific thoughts of me getting hurt, somebody I love getting hurt. A lot of women get diagnosed with OCD after pregnancy. And so
my mom confided in me after my OCD got really, really bad and I was afraid. She confided in me that after she had me and after she had my brother, she was really afraid that she was going to hurt us. 30 plus years ago, I don't know that anybody was really talking about that side of postpartum, when they kind of trivialize it into baby blues when it's like much deeper than that, much worse than that.
Zooby, zooby, zoo.
Me checking my door, checking the stove, calling people in my house saying, did I turn the stove off? Did I lock the door?
Zooby, zooby, zoo. Zooby, zooby, zoo. Zooby, zoo, zooby, zoo. Mon Dieu, qu'ils sont.
Oh my God, the rereading sentences until it feels complete. I didn't realize me doing that was an OCD thing. I didn't realize that until very recently, probably within the last like year and a half or so. But anytime I would read, I would get this feeling in the pit of my stomach that was too strong for what did I skip a line? So I would have to go back and reread. I was afraid I missed something. I was afraid that I would have this feeling just like, wait, a couple pages back, did I miss a word? The reason I know it is OCD and not just like, oh wait, I don't understand something, I have to go back and read it, was because it had this intensity about it. It wasn't just like, oh, did I skip that? Let me go back and reread that. It wasn't that. It was this like, oh my God, I have to go do this. It had this urgency, and that's how I know that was an OCD thing.
OCD is in your brain. So it's like my brain knows things before I know them. It can just intercept me. So it would be about to take a sip of water and your brain says, no, that's going to cause cancer. Everything slowly was taken away until that day specifically, like I didn't have any more clothes to wear. They were all dangerous.
Talking about what clothes are dangerous and what clothes are allowed, I had something similar. It wasn't so much what clothes were dangerous, colors were dangerous. Couldn't wear black, I couldn't wear certain things. I thought that it reflected something about me as a person, that I would take on a different personality if I wore those colors. So those colors were dangerous to me, and it was a nightmare. I think overall, a lot of those little clips were pretty accurate representations of what OCD is like. And I feel like that's what we don't see. That's what we're missing in TV and shows and, you know, in movies, whatever. Those kinds of experiences are the things that are lacking. Again, going back to, we see it as, you know, being tidy or being clean or being a germaphobe or being organized, but they're not showing the distress that comes along with why they're doing that. Not just because they like it, not just because that's who they are as a person and that's their little quirky personality trait. Of course, it's so much more complicated than that. So that's why I think that these kinds of videos on social media are so important, because without that outlet, a lot of people maybe wouldn't get that exposure to what OCD is and realize, hey, wait, that sounds like me. So that being said, if any of these things sound like you, it might be time to start looking at starting your journey towards helping yourself with OCD. And you can start on that journey today by going to NOCD.com or treatmyocd.com, and they will hook you up with a therapist that is trained for OCD. And trust me, they have heard it all when it comes to OCD issues, intrusive thoughts, all of it. Nobody bats an eye, so feel free to tell them and really work on helping yourself. So on that note, I'm gonna get going and I will see you guys later. Bye!